Welcome back to another episode of Besties. I am your co-host Aisha with my best friend
Stephanie.
Ooh, what's with the vibes?
Because we're
today?
talking about it today. We're talking toxic relationships.
Toxic relationships is the theme for today's show. Last week we talked about the rules, and actually I'd like to offer a grind my gear today.
You have a grinder here?
Yeah, because you violated a rule. Looking a little shooketh.
Which one?
The rule that says you're supposed to advise me in advance of a change in your schedule in relation to me texting. Thursday, you don't normally work Thursdays. I texted you. I messaged you. I called you. Only for you to tell me I'm working. I wasn't made aware of the change in schedule because I know your work schedule. Violation. Violation. Explain.
You know what?
I've been holding on to this one just so you know. I've been holding
money.
this.
No, I honestly, it's March break. March break started on Friday.
That's
I would
fine.
usually work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. March break started on Friday, so I had to work Thursday instead. So
That's
I
fine.
still get paid.
I wasn't made aware.
I don't even
you.
think I made anybody aware. I was just like, guys, I'm going to work.
On Thursday.
I'm just going to work. I'm going to work, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Just wanted to share
my
that.
bad. Oh, I'm sorry, Aisha. I'm sorry for violating
Ooh.
our friendship rules.
Do we see the level of sarcasm? Anyways, last episode.
But wait. If this.
Oh, no, it's not a violation.
Listen to me.
There's no
if
violation.
this ends up like this.
First of all, why would your
at
choker?
any time
Why would your choker
during this
end up all the way
because
above your chin?
It
Bruh.
couldn't-
It's
if
not
it
going to
does,
happen.
the level of crash out
It's not
is going to be epic. If I
It's not
look
gonna
back
happen.
at this
not
and
gonna
there's my whole throat is
not gonna
swallowing this. Crash out.
It looks great.
Thanks.
Welcome to our show. Welcome to another episode of Bestie, where you get to see the behind the scenes real life vibe between Steph and I.
Totally unprofessional.
We are professional.
all
We're
the
respectable
time.
women of the community.
Yes, we are.
Always. Happy Sunday, babe.
Happy
How's it
Sunday.
going?
You know what? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We had the sleepover
Mhm.
last night. It was great. And, we're talking about toxic friendships today. I just want to give a shout out to the non-toxic
Yes.
young women
Yes.
that are in my
yes.
daughter's
Yes.
My daughter,
Yeah.
and I mean your daughter as well,
Mhm.
because they have a birthday very close together,
Mhm.
have both had these birthday parties
Yep.
recently, and both of our daughters have been able to attend the other one's birthday. And I am so thankful
Yep.
that our daughters are blessed with these kinds of friendships.
Yep.
Because we do see a lot of times in
Mhm.
preteen sort of relationships, because we do the building your identity. There's a
Absolutely.
plug, building your identity,
Just so you know,
taking empowered action.
We do a lot, ladies.
in
We
your
do a lot,
teenage
people.
life. We see a lot of
Yeah.
young women that come into the program
Mhm.
also that are dealing with toxic
Yeah.
friendships.
Yeah.
And when we do a lot of breakdowns, and
Mm-hmm.
when we take them through
Yeah.
that activity, they tell us a lot about the toxic friendships that they have and how they're not dealing with them.
Yeah.
And how they're really having a hard time navigating
Yeah.
these relationships.
These friendships, yeah.
And man, my
It
daughter's
is.
friends are
Just so you know, I was also
incredible.
at that party, and I'd like to say for the record that I'd like to go back to the age of 13 and have their friends, because the gifts that these friends are out here giving.
Yes. I mean, they beautiful gifts, gifts, but just the time that they spend together, and like the quality time,
Yep.
the thoughtfulness that goes into how they talk to each other, how they hang out with each other, how
much
they spend
value.
time.
Yep.
It is just like, for me, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was
It is.
amazing to see.
Yeah.
Shout out, Maya.
Yeah.
You have
Big up.
amazing friends.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud of you.
Yeah.
So
I
proud.
also think that is, I will say that is a reflection of, that is a reflection of who she is as a person as well, right? Because which is what
I think
is
so.
part of the conversation today. I mean, certainly when we talk about toxic friendships, we can't always, even though we might be positive in the relationship, doesn't mean that the other side is, which we're going to get into. But I do also want to give kudos to who she is as a young woman, because I think, again, you attract those kinds of friends based on who you are. Not a perfect science by any means.
Yeah.
But I think, again, the importance of the conversation is because whether you are young or whether you are seasoned like us, toxic relationships are a thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they can really impact your life in a very negative way. To be very honest, like a toxic relationship can, for some people, depending on the relationship, depending on the longevity of the relationship, and we're going to get into that today, can really negatively impact like you mentally, not you specifically, but can impact someone mentally.
It has been me specifically a couple times in my life.
Right. But it can impact you mentally, emotionally. Again, we'll get into the discussion around like this expectation that because you've been friends with someone for so long, the difficulty in creating boundaries or even letting that go. And even parts around the, like, you know, we'll get into, again, pieces around like social media and like just how that can breed or create or even be an eye opener when it comes to toxic relationships. So there's a lot we're going to be talking about today. And I know we talked a little bit about it last episode, but we're going to get into it.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting conversation because I think that we talk about the amazing friendships that we have and the amazing women in our lives, but that hasn't always been the case. I haven't always kept the most incredible people around me. And I think that as I've gotten older and learned more things about myself, learned how to, you know, be a good friend to people too, and that results in better relationships. Yeah. So I think for me, I had to learn a lot along the way, but even still, you get caught every once in a while with somebody that maybe shouldn't be in your circle. Yeah. You know, maybe that shouldn't be in your circle, but it's like, what are you going to do? Yeah. You have to figure out how you're going to deal with that and how to move forward. Yeah. And I know that you can definitely help us with that.
Yes. I'll offer some tips and tricks on how to move forward. But I think part of, the beginning of this conversation is even identifying like what is a toxic relationship, because we just, you know, again, in preparation for this, just so you know, we also don't just fly off like the handle. Like we actually do some prep work. And wanting to be very mindful around the fact that there's a difference between having a conflict with a friend, which can very well happen.
Absolutely happens.
Any relationship can have conflict, and then where it teeters into things being toxic.
Yeah.
Right?
Healthy conflict is so okay. Yeah. And I think for your friends, like, you're not always going to get along. You're not always going to see everything the same way as everybody else sees it. Yeah. You're going to have different opinions. You're going to have different foundation, like your different morals, values, whatever, are going to help to shape who you are in your friendship. Just because you're different doesn't necessarily make you toxic. Yes. Yeah. It's when you start becoming that thorn in the side.
The hangnail in the toe.
Exactly. Yikes.
I don't know why.
I don't know. I don't know why you went there.
I don't know why I went there. Because I was trying
there either.
You said thorn inside, and then I was like, what else is painful? And I just went to...
Yeah, like you have the friends that only call you for, you know, very specific things. Like, you know that the only time you see that person's number come across your phone is because they absolutely want something that you have. Yeah. That they've seen something that you're doing and they maybe want to jump on the bandwagon. That happens a lot. You have like those master manipulators of the situation. Yeah. And you have a lot of times, and I know that this has happened for you, and people that know that I call you Barbie all the time because everybody loves Barbie, and I'm Raquel. And if you've ever watched Barbie Life in the Dream House, you'll absolutely understand what I am talking about. If you don't know, please Google it.
Watch an episode.
It's absolutely hilarious. The show is hilarious, but I am Raquel, and this over here is Barbie. And everybody loves you.
For the most part.
I don't know why I think that's hilarious, but like, everywhere we go, it's like, oh my God, Aisha's in the building, and like everybody's obsessed with you. And it's like, maybe I'm the toxic friend in that moment.
I was just about to say, I was like, you're really not selling yourself as not being toxic because you're not toxic.
Like, can we just go though? Like, why
this is more related to your impatience.
I do have a lot of impatience.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But you have people that have literally wanted to be you.
Yes.
And like have
mirrored.
Yeah. Yes. Everything about you, like your glasses, your lipstick, your friggin' hair, your hair color, your clothing, like everything. And I was like, you're creepy. Yeah. You're super creepy. Yeah. is this toxic or is it like psychotic?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you
there's a border.
toxic or like have you teetered
This is why you have my location all the time. If I go missing, you know how
over
this
the
goes.
edge?
If you don't
Listen,
hear me,
psychopaths.
if you don't see me, you know what happens.
Psychopaths. Yeah, you tend to have a little bit more, not toxic friends.
No,
because
no.
you don't keep those people really
not at all.
close.
Yeah.
But like they're edgers.
Yeah.
You know, they're like on the edge.
They're teetering.
They're
on
like,
the like.
oh, I want to be part of the circle. You can't sit with us.
Yeah, you can't sit with us.
No, joking. We love everyone.
Yeah. No, but I think you again bring up a great point, because I think as individuals, I think the difficulty in really determining whether a friendship is toxic or whether just a friend has a bad trait or a friend just might be going right. It can be difficult to really understand, where you need to go with that. And I think one of the first things is like, what is a toxic friendship, right? Really, a toxic friendship are those relationships where you kind of said, if the person calls you like, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or like if you're
Yeah.
feeling stressed, or if there's a level of engagement where it actually requires you to like mentally, emotionally, physically, like tap in, because there's such a sense of being drained following that.
Yeah.
The truth is, it is a toxic relationship.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with like the energy suckers.
Yeah.
The ones where you see it and you're like, oh God, I have to mentally prepare myself to answer this phone call because I don't want to deal with this person.
Yeah.
And I think that if you get there in your friendship,
Mhm.
you have to understand that this is somebody that is the toxic goo.
Yeah.
They are the person that is just pulling so much of your energy, so much of your time, so much of your love, so much of your everything that you have to offer. That person is pulling that out of you. And that is not a good place to be in.
No. And I will add one more piece to that, again, because sometimes relationships can be uneven in periods of time. So if a friend is really struggling and going through something, yes, naturally, you may be giving more at that time than before. It is when there is zero reciprocation after a long period of time. Like really, that's when things become toxic. So you're giving and you're giving and you're giving and you're giving. And in your time of struggle or in your time of hardship, like there's crickets.
Yeah.
Like there's no one there. There's no one that's there to support you. There's no one or that person isn't reciprocating in a way that you were offering. Yeah. Again, I think we need to offer the caveat. We're not out here just telling you to cut off and blanket, but I think people really do need to.
Did you see the meme I sent you?
Yes. I'm gonna post it.
We need to post it because
it's so funny.
Just because you just said that, and it's like this person literally scissoring everything. Like I'm snipping off everybody. Like everybody gets cut. Everybody gets cut.
And sometimes it has to happen.
I mean, you do that.
Yeah. I'm a zero.
No, you're like a cutter for sure.
Like one time.
You zap the energy from you, done. Yeah. You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
And I don't, and it takes me, it takes me a while, because I'm certainly someone who gives the benefit of the doubt. I'm someone who will tap more into like, where are they at? How are they feeling? Like but the moment I hit that point.
Yeah.
And I cut off like with no guilt. Also like.
You do a lot of things without guilt.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You do a lot of things.
Well, that comes down to the boundary.
You do not live in the land of the guilt, ma'am.
No.
Whereas I do. I am totally guilty. Mm-hmm. But I got a lot going on. But I'm definitely a people pleaser. So I do stay in toxic relationships or like have stayed in a lot of toxic relationships simply because of guilt and like feeling bad for like what the outcome is going to be. Like if I leave the relationship or if I don't reciprocate or give that person that part of me anymore. That's like one of the biggest things that I do.
Okay, good. No, because I was going to ask a question, but go ahead, finish.
Well, now I've lost my train of thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because you went in.
I know.
You know what happens. You can't
sorry. Because you're on such a great thing.
I was here like, and then my thoughts pop out. That's what happens. You pop in this side, and the rest of what I'm saying goes out.
I'm gonna pop it back in because it is in the people pleasing part. Is the fear or is the guilt connected to how someone's going to react to you if you now set your boundary to say, like, I can no longer welcome you into my life because you're not doing good for me? Like, what side? Uh-oh.
Do you know what I'm thinking of right now?
Mm-hmm.
I should be in therapy. Like, my therapist is probably asked me the same question. Oh, I ghosted her.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you have Aisha Stephanie, your bestie.
Who needs it?
She freaking runs me to moi. Like, what am I gonna pay this woman $175 an hour for? I'm just gonna come on this thing and figure out my life. Figure out.
Ghost.
I think, but truthfully, yes. Getting back to what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
For sure. I think for me, it's like when I put up a boundary, if that person reacts poorly to me, I feel like I take that so personally because I do try and meet the needs of people.
You do.
And I think that's the biggest thing is I'm like a caregiver.
Yeah.
You know, so I try and meet their needs. And then I feel like when I put up my boundary, maybe I'm not meeting their needs. And then that makes me feel like I haven't done a good job as a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I need more therapy.
No, but as someone who has been your best friend and certainly have offered that support where I'm like, you've actually gone above and beyond when it comes to this friendship or this relationship, and it's time to like let it go. So I can see where someone's negative reaction does impact you, right? And so then as a friend, my responsibility is to be like, no, you've surpassed.
But then it becomes like a breakup.
Yeah.
It becomes like a breakup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have all those feelings of like an actual relationship breakup because your friendships are your relationships.
Yes, they are.
Right?
Yeah.
But good thing I have ADHD. And
so you don't remember that you were friends?
And then I don't even remember that we were friends. Because out of sight, out of mind, babe.
Out of sight,
out of sight, out of mind.
Poof, done. No, but I think it's a great point, which leads into another important conversation around even longevity of friendships, right?
Yeah.
So longevity of friendships, we know can have people feeling like it's difficult to break the friendship, where there's a realization that the friendship has become toxic.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? Like if you've been friends with someone for 20 years, 30 years, childhood friends, like, and people grow, people evolve.
Yeah.
And sometimes those relationships that started out amazing and connected really do become unhealthy and not the relationship for you. So what is, like, is that connected as well? Or like, what are your thoughts on that one?
I think that sometimes those relationships are harder to see because I think that because you're growing and you're both kind of doing your own thing, it's really easy for you to just kind of poo-poo things and like just say, oh, you know, that's just how they are. That's just how this person is. I've known them 20 years. They don't mean bad by you. They don't mean to do that. Or, you know, I think that when we have those long-term friendships that are scary to get rid of because that person's just kind of always been in your life and you can't really picture like a life without them, it's really easy to pass over some of those things that do hurt you, that do kind of soul suck, that do make you feel bad. Yeah. And I know, you know, even in my life, I've had really significant friendships that unfortunately have, you know, met their expiry date. Met their expiry.
Yeah.
And it was devastating. Absolutely devastating to me. But I also knew that in that moment, it just wasn't the right thing. Yeah. But you do. Like, I know that one that ended 15 years ago. Yeah. I still think about the person. Like that person is still like we have a bond.
Yeah.
Or we had a bond
yeah.
because we were so incredibly close.
Yeah.
But like I still think about them.
Yeah.
It was tragic.
Yeah.
It was so tragic. And the way that it all went down was so
it's a loss.
Tragic. It was such a loss to me.
Yeah.
And it affected me. It affected every part of me in that time. And I mean, even 15 years later, I'm like,
yeah, that sucks.
Man, why were you a dick?
Yeah.
But like, not really. Yeah. Pardon my language. Sorry, Mom.
Show.
But like,
first of all, your mother knows you, so let's not.
I know, but
like
she'll be like, Stephanie, man.
That is inappropriate to say.
But I was like, why did you do that, man? Yeah. Because we were such good friends. And like,
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, I was trying to think, even in my life, I've definitely had friendships that have evolved. I don't know that I can say I have had a toxic relationship, but I have definitely witnessed and experienced toxic behavior where I'm like, you need to stay over there.
I think that that's the difference between me and you.
Yeah.
I think that like I stick around for the party.
Yeah.
And I stick around for like, girl, let's get in it. Yeah. You know, like I stick around for that part and you're like, absolutely not. Yeah. I'm out. Like from the time that you see the behavior, this does not suit me. And I, being the person that I am, like having the personality that I have, I'm like, no, let me see. Let me see a little bit more. Let me see how far this will go. I'm a pretty good reader of people and I can kind of tell how people are going to be. Yeah. But I wait for them to uncover all of the layers. Yeah. And I probably shouldn't. I should be way more like, oh no, that is that is a red flag and we need to like not do this. Yeah. But I'm like, oh no, give me 72 red flags and then maybe I'll make a decision over the weekend after I've thought about it. You know,
but I also think with you are definitely someone who also gives people the benefit of the doubt. I really do think you will look at the bigger picture. Like, what's the circumstance? Like, what are the reasons why someone could? I mean, there's certainly situations where you're like, yeah, guess what? It's a wrap. But I do think you really do give people the benefit of the doubt and then some. And I think in those bad behaviors or those toxic behaviors, someone I think will give a glimmer of hope. Like, okay, you know what? It was a moment in time, and so it kind of invites me back in the door. I'm like, oh wait, you're not really a jerk, right? Yeah, you're not really a jerk. Let me come back through the door. Yeah, and let's see if we can work this out. Yeah, right. Which I don't think it's wrong, especially if there is a foundation. Of friendship. Right? Again, this conversation isn't just about, again, there are some relationships where like they're toxic and they're dangerous and you need to just cut them off. Yeah. But this is the intent of this conversation is not to say like just cut people off, but being in a toxic friendship is just as bad as being in a bad and unhealthy relationship because really the outcome is the same, right? The stressors, the feeling like you can't be thriving because that friend is unable to separate their ish, right? That's a big one. And that's a big one for me. Yeah. If you can't uplift, if it hurts you to uplift people, you can't be around me. Yeah. Like that's a toxic, that's a red flag. It's a red flag for me. We will have these later. We will have them later for a different activity. But for sure, that's such a red flag for me. Yeah. If you are so in your own stuff that you can't uplift other people, that's really hard. Yeah. That's it. Unwilling. Yeah. Just kind of sour. You're a sour puss. Yeah. Yeah. And not letting people or not allowing people to have the shine, even if you are struggling or if you're not in a good place. Yeah. That is a big time red flag. I cannot wait to get these. I have some rapid fire questions. I'm ready for rapid fire. That you get to use your flag to determine whether this is a green flag, which means it's just you're just annoying. You're just annoying. Yeah, which happens. Like sometimes people are just annoying. Yeah, absolutely. People like they're not necessarily toxic. No, but they're just annoying in that moment. Like they have annoying tendencies. Yeah. Or they're just being annoying at that moment, and then
Yeah.
they just need to be shelved for a little bit so that they can calm down.
Yeah. Like
And
take
then-
it down a notch.
Yeah,
Take it
right.
down a
Take it down a
notch.
notch. Last week, I was being annoying. I was singing. Told me to get my shit together. Cut
Yeah.
singing, and I
Take it
did.
down. Take it down.
Take it down.
Yeah.
And I didn't sing today.
We did.
We did.
I always wanted a brother.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we did.
Just
We did.
like me.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
we
we
did.
did. But you were joining in, so you weren't.
I
annoying.
did. I did join in.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm tired today.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's do a rapid fire. I'm ready for
You ready, rapid fire?
I'm
Okay.
ready for a rapid fire. I really want to use these. Shout out to Zariah
Yeah, for the
for
creative.
hooking Auntie up because Auntie did not have her life together, and I did
and
not
she made
have
the
my
red
red flags.
flags.
I did not have my flag, so I
Ah.
am so ready.
Ready to go. All
I
right.
feel like I'm ready to direct friendship traffic.
All right.
This
are
is
we-
what you are. This is what you are. I'm ready.
Listen, mind you before you snap your elbow. Eh?
Right?
Just careful there with it.
It's the one thing that would snap on me. It's like
That-
the one thing that would break.
Is your elbow, and then
Yeah.
you'll be like loosey goosey, and then I don't know.
It's very red flag. of you.
right.
I'm using these in real life.
You can take them home. They're for you.
I'm about to.
There you go.
All right, rapid
everyone's gonna-
fire me.
All right, ready?
Yes.